Well, hello and welcome back to the garden. How beautiful is this evening sunshine? It is just stunning. But it's not the weekend, as the weekend weather was quite different. It's late in the evening now, because I got no gardening done over the weekend, but I thought that I'm going to show you a bit about my planning and getting organized system as such, which really isn't a system, but it's just something I do tend to catch up with if the weather outside doesn't allow me to do any gardening. And part of this prep is actually a lot to do with the new cottage garden area. So when I'm stuck indoors and I'm not watching YouTube videos or other gardening related videos, this is what I usually do. So this spring's weather has not been kind to us at all, at least not so far. And during the weekend with the storm Kathleen, it definitely made the outdoor gardening absolutely impossible. And because the storm was also rated orange, so there was a lot of wind and gusts, I'd tried to come here out of the greenhouse, but it was not pleasant at all. It was so noisy, so loud, so I wasn't even staying out here. So it was purely to be inside the house, and that is what I got up to. So usually when the weather conditions don't allow me to do practical gardening, I try to catch up with a bit of reading or just overall do research on plants or etc. And I had been for far too long postponing tidying up my vegetable seed packets, doing a really proper stock take of what I actually have, what seed packets are still in date, and overall making sure that I even have enough seeds for those particular vegetables I do want to grow this season. And truthfully, this is actually something I usually do during the Christmas and New Year's holidays, but because I was abroad visiting my family for last Christmas, I never found an opportunity to do it later. And anyways, it was necessary to do this, as it will stop me buying more of the same seeds I already have, like multiples of these turnips, for instance. I always like to go through some gardening books as well, and my really old A to Z Gardener's World vegetables listing, just to make sure that I've covered all the vegetables I was interested in growing. Now, strangely enough, my approach to organizing vegetable seeds to ornamental seeds or even ornamental plants are really, really different. And with the vegetable seeds, for me, it's just very factual. I purely write down what I want to grow, the type of, would say, the variety, and that's really just it. As for the ornamental plants, it is fully visual to me. And I need to be able to see the actual plant, or at least a picture of it. Obviously doing research of what conditions it likes and how big it grows, all that as well. But otherwise, as combining plants, I do need to physically see it. And as it is so early in spring and all of the plants that I have in the pots at the moment are not growing properly yet, even though they're here in the greenhouse, they're still not growing properly yet. So I am going to be using the help of the computer for this. Now, thankfully, the store notice was given to us a couple of days prior, so I used a bit of time during an afternoon to take measurements of the new cottage garden area, as I already had listed the plants that are overwintering here and that I had purchased last year, and I knew they were suitable for the conditions that I had. So all I really just was missing were the measurements for the new beds. Now, I was using my really long landscaping measuring tape for that. It's a good trusty old measuring tape. I've had it since the beginning of when we purchased the site. And just getting the perimeter measurements first, and also the central circle diameter. And I also took note of the existing plants locations, especially the new David Austin Gabriel oak roses. For getting a better visual for myself, I'm using a basic online software just to get the cottage garden area in scale on the paper, and I need to use my measurements taken earlier for that, and this will just allow me to calculate the space available, as I usually calculate around 3 to 4 plants per square meter, and knowing the space will let me know how many new plants I can potentially add to here. I suppose first of all, what I tend to do is just look up pictures of all the plants that are currently already growing in that area, and I use those as a mood board just on a Word document. So really simple, and this is a great way to get an overview of the plants themselves. Next, I'm going to do the same for the plants that are currently still in the pots, but I haven't planted out, but I already own, so I don't need to buy those plants, I have them. And then I just play around with pictures, just seeing how they might look or work with each other, looking at the colors and the shapes of them, as I know all of these plants together are suitable for the sun or slash slight shady area I have. Also, there are a couple of great books I find really helpful for inspiration and noting down what I'm currently missing and what I need to add for my shopping list. Now, I'm not worrying about bulbs or annuals at this point yet, only shrubs and perennials, these permanent fixtures for the new cottage garden area. Now, I have found this approach the best to ensure that A, I have the actual plants I really love the look of and I get an enjoyment out of them, and B, that I'm not ending up impulse shopping at the garden centre, because knowing the shopping list will keep me on budget better, and I know well enough that there are always potential temptations when I'm actually at the garden centre, but just having that list will keep me focused much better than without that list. So I hope that this was something interesting to know how I deal with when I have like a blank canvas that I need to get plants into. I'm no garden designer, but this is a process that works for me. But if you want to know what other gardening jobs I'm doing or planning for the month of April, have a look at that next video. Otherwise, thanks a million for watching, and until next time. Isn't that right, Spuds? It's right down there. Sleeping away.